I want to start my talk today with how my team starts our team meetings every single time we meet. So I want to ask you to take, and I understand that we have a little bit of extra time, so that's good. I want to ask you to take, maybe 2 minutes, maybe less, to talk with somebody at your table and share a moment of joy, something that you've experienced in the last week or so, and take a moment, share that with folks at your table, and then we'll get back together in about 2 minutes or so. Let's come back together. They can hear me, right? Yeah, I know. I'm so happy that everybody is sharing so much joy. I can feel the mood in the room and the energy, so that's really great. We're going to talk about more of why I had you guys do this activity in a little while. Man, you guys are really enjoying this. I should have kept it going. So I want to chat a little bit about my story. So I grew up in a close-knit community in Columbus here. And, I was really blessed and fortunate to have lived, most of my childhood in this community. And when I grew up, I returned, like many who grew up there, and returned and raised my family there. I grew up feeling, really safe and protected. While my childhood was not perfect, I was surrounded by a lot of loving and caring adults who were compassionate and allowed me to, the freedom to be myself. I was a shy, quiet child. I know, I'm shocked how I got to this point where I'm standing in front of hundreds of people. I had my social network in school consisted of, several really close friends, many of whom I'm still friends with today. Because I was an introvert, there would be some who I was raised with who would probably be shocked that I am standing in front of all these people today, maybe even surprised that I'm a therapist. But how did I get to this place where I'm able to brave enough to stand in front of all these people and kind of share my story? So let me share it with you. I was one of those kids who always knew what they wanted to be when they grew up. I know it sounds cliche, but I was one of those kids and adults. People would tell me things, personal things, and I'd be like, why is this person telling me this? I barely know them. I'm really not sure why. Even as a young adult, people would just tell me stuff, and I'd be like, man, I don't even know this person. But I was a good listener, and I was patient, and I was accepting, and this will resonate with many of you in the audience, but I was absolutely terrible in math, right? Raise your hand. Anybody else in the room who's awful in math? Yeah, that was me. So my career choice was solidified in high school and college when I started work as a waitress at TGI Fridays. So back in the day, I'm not even sure if there's Fridays anymore, but back in the day, it was the place to be. And while anybody on my team knows that I would just rather, die on a hill than age myself, back in the 90s, if you were ever at Fridays on Henderson Road, I'm saying I might have been your server. I don't know. So if anybody's, in the room is old enough to visit at Fridays Henderson Road in Columbus, I might have been your server. But yeah, it was a really super busy place. Mostly happy people enjoying their time together. The mood was contagious. People were contagious to be around. At that time in my life, I was not able to explain the neurobiology of emotional contagion, that our moods impact, I think I'm supposed to do the slide now, how do I do it? Oh, there it is. Oh no, I have the same problem that I have when I'm doing trainings in a small group, technology. That our moods are impacted by those around us, and that our brains are wired that how we treat people is how we are treated. But I did know that a lot of my happiness was related and influenced by those around me. While not conscious at the time, I do believe that some of the reason why I stayed for all those years, which I stayed for 7 years, was because of emotional contagion. And not many can say that. So raise of hands if you've ever worked in the service industry. Ever? Yeah, lots of us, right? So you know how challenging it can be, right? Long hours, always on your feet, coming home smelling like grease. Back in the day, I'm just saying, again, it was grease and smoke back then, and it took a really long time to get that out of your clothes, your hair, I'm just saying. But I loved working at Fridays. Loved it. And honestly, you know, it could have gone the opposite way, right? People probably had some maybe negative experiences in the service industry, but I absolutely loved it. Loved staying there. I'm not saying it was all positive, that people were happy all the time, that it wasn't stressful at times, but what I am saying is that the good outweighed the bad. In retrospect, it was a team of people who had each other's backs, who worked alongside each other, who supported each other. It was the managers who treated us with respect, who rooted for us, worked alongside us, and really just wanted us to be our best selves. I was really able to grow and develop in there. I was able to treat customers as they deserved to be treated because of how I was treated as an employee. Sorry, I have to use my notes. Being cocooned in that supportive environment allowed me to come out of my shell. It also allowed me to learn very valuable skills that I would later use as a therapist, like learning to listen amongst many distractions, like learning to juggle many plates, both literally and figuratively. I mean, we used to have to carry them like all the way up our. And also learning how to stay calm when others around you are really upset. I had no idea how those skills would later help me in my future work as a therapist. So I'm not telling you something that you don't already know about emotional contagion. It's not a new concept. We know that our mood is impacted by others around us. You come home from a long day at work to the sounds of your loved ones around the dinner table, laughing, sharing stories, and your mood is suddenly lighter. You hear a baby laughing, right? And it's almost impossible not to laugh. We know that this shows up both positively and negatively in the workplace. Seeing a team member panic can spread like a virus, while a simple smile can brighten someone's mood. After graduate school, I got my first real job, as a therapist, family therapist, working in a small agency here in Columbus. I was ready to change the world, right? Like many of us, ready to change the world, ready to do this work. And I still remember going up the elevator all these years later, 26, 27 years later, I can still remember going up that elevator, building on Bryden Road. And, the smells, I had my briefcase, I had my professional, I've been used to wearing, like all the flair at Fridays. So the work attire, dress attire was significantly different. So I was super excited, big girl, ready to start my new job. And I soon came to realize that I was not ready to navigate my new world. My boss was incredibly harsh. He was demanding, he was controlling, and I was miserable. Everybody was miserable. The entire team was miserable, people were miserable. And I dreaded going to work. It was so unexpected for what I'd experienced at Fridays. I wasn't able to function as I knew I needed to, how I needed to treat my clients. I couldn't focus on learning how to be a therapist and providing quality care. I knew that clinical work was for me. I knew it was a calling. I'd known it, since I was young. And I had finally started my career, and I couldn't be myself. I'd gotten the job, and I couldn't be my authentic self. So I wasn't aware at the time that I was experiencing the opposite, kind of negative emotional contagion, the opposite of what I experienced at Fridays. Give me a show of hands in the audience. Who's ever experienced a work environment where they felt undervalued, mistreated? Yeah, lots of folks. It's awful, right? It's terrible. So I only made it there a year, right? I couldn't hack it. I only made it there a year. And I'm a loyal person, right? Like 7 years at Fridays, like who can do that, right? Through college, and I only made it a year. So this drove me to find a workplace that was consistent with how I was expected to treat clients. So I found that at the Rosemont Center. Any Rosemont folks out there? A lot of us grew up at Rosemont, right? Or at least if you haven't grown up there, you've heard about it. You've probably had people there, kids there, running in the community, and the Buckeye Ranch, right? So I've spent my entire 26 years, minus one, at those two places, okay? 26 years, both at those two places in the nonprofit space. I spent the first 13 years of my career in direct service from various levels of care, from residential down to outpatient. And I'm still, some of that shy, quiet stuff still kind of peeks out, right? Because I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I'm not sure if I can do residential. I'm not sure if I can do that. Man, that sounds too hard to me. I'm not sure if I can do day treatment. I'm just not sure if I can do that. Well, I was able to do it and did do it. And I loved working with clients. I loved watching them change and grow. I loved planting seeds and knowing I was part of their change journey. In 2011, I decided I became a supervisor. And I was not sure how that was going to go. I wasn't sure if I was going to be happy, right? I wasn't sure if I was still going to have the same impact or have any impact on clients. But what I came to realize over time was that how I treated those clinicians and the other team members that I worked with had an impact on the clients that we were serving, and that I still had an impact on their change journey. Clients were still changing, change was still happening, and I was witnessing it and part of their journey. I loved being a supervisor. Again, not all great and not all roses, but generally I loved it. I loved watching people grow and develop. I loved watching clinicians and other team members, apply different skills and learn different techniques and interventions on how to help the kids that we were serving. I loved the little moments. And 2 years ago, I made the decision, and I always tell the story, I worked in day treatment, and I just got real tired of going down the road and West Broad Street and being chased. And so I decided I've got to make a change. And I moved to professional development. I really struggled to make the decision to move away from supervising and direct care. And I found myself at the same crossroads. Would I be happy? And would I still impact clients? I leaned on my previous experience as a supervisor and about how my behavior impacted the clinicians that trickled down and impacted the folks that we served. And now I had the opportunity to apply this at an organizational level. So here I am now. Most of you have heard this saying. I want you to finish it with me. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Thank you. When considering workplace wellness, we know we need to go a level deeper. I'll invite you to consider another way of phrasing this. How about do unto others as you would have others do unto others? We have to treat our team members like we expect them to treat our clients. It starts with us and those above us. Research around the 3 degrees of influence rule says that our behavior can influence the friends of our friends' friends. That means people that we don't even know are impacted by our behavior. This is astounding. We know that we influence people who are friends, but we're now influencing people of 3 degrees of separation. So what does this mean for workplace wellness? According to Vineet Nair, the author of Employees First, Customers Second, it has taken an epic crisis in workforce turnover to open our eyes to a seemingly obvious truth. If our mission is to nourish hungry people, we must start with nourishing food. If our mission is to heal hurting people, we must start with healing healthy healers. We cannot ask our team members to do for our clients what we do not do for them. We cannot expect our quality care to clients if we do not make systematic changes in organizational approaches. So at the Buckeye Ranch, we are implementing a strategy for doing unto others as you would do unto, am I saying that right? As you would have others do unto others. That's a lot of words. We have used our principles of quality care to guide us on how to train our team members to support our clients in making meaningful and durable change. As we set out to create an organizational approach to professional development, we knew our work with team members and leaders needed to be grounded in those same principles. We've intentionally chosen models that support that, how we treat our clients. I'm almost done, I'm going over a little bit. They did say it was like the Oscars where they start like, wrap you up. It's not like that. I'd like to share 2 examples of how we're doing that. One is through our strength-based lens. One of our principles of quality care is a strength-based approach. We know how critical that is to apply that to the folks that we serve, looking at them from their strengths and not their deficits. We believe that all people have strengths, and that if they're able to use their strengths, it can make durable and lasting change. We know this to be true of our clients. It's true of our team members. To apply that principle, we have adopted Gallup, Clifton Strength Finders. It used to be Strength Finders, it's now Clifton Strengths. And we are using that. Our implementation plan began with our executive team. It cascaded through managers, supervisors, and now everybody who supervises at least one person has taken the assessment, has been coached by one of our coaches, and has received an insight report. We are working with them. Our plan is to have all team members by the end of this year to have taken their strengths assessment. And we really want to continue to use strengths as a lens through which we work with our team members, as we know how critical it is in working with the folks that we serve. Another way we're offering is through our Motivational Interviewing initiative. So we've invested in motivational interviewing expertise, as we believe this approach honors the dignity, the self-worth, the ability and the right to choose what's best for them. They're the expert on themselves, and we believe if it is true for our clients, it is true for our team members. So we are training not only our direct care staff in how to master MI skills, but also we're working simultaneously with supervisors on how to work with their direct reports and folks that they serve on how to utilize motivational interviewing skills. So we've chosen these 2 models. They align with our principles of quality of care, and we believe that when you're surrounded by people who share the same values, beliefs, and attitudes, that leads to a more positive workplace, right? So we believe that our tools are going to create a more positive workplace, and that it helps supervisors to work with clients and their team members in their first step towards their own 3 degrees of separation. It is our hope that your organization can join us in promoting workplace wellness by saying, do unto others as you would have others do unto others. Thank you.